Sheesh. Okay, here we go.
Bro.
Use your face.
That sounds when you didn't do
Oh,
right
that
here.
Yep. Here we go. Yesterday we ended, I think we were talking about the z-score. I just wanted to reference that one more time. This is from yesterday's example, so for the other class. But what it states is a z-score is a standardized score, and it just references the standard deviation for stuff. So if you, for the example we were doing yesterday, it said which this was in the other class, so you may not, you don't know these numbers, and that's fine, you don't need to write this down. The mean of the stuff we were doing for the other class was 65, so it's 65 on the test, let's say. A z-score of 34 came out to be negative 1.95. What this represents is how many standard deviations you are away. So, but standard deviations are always the average amount the data is away from the mean. So in this case, the standard deviation for this example that we did was 16. So if you had a z-score of 34, what that means is, if your score on your test was a 34, in this example, your z-score was negative 1.95, which means you're almost 2 standard deviations away in a wrong direction, in the direction you don't want to go.
Yeah.
So if you go, because this is 2 standard deviations away, so if you go minus 16, what's 65 minus 16? 49. What's 49 minus 16? 33. So 2 exact standard deviations away, if the standard deviation was 16, would put you at 33. If you were at a 34, you're slightly above 2 standard deviations away, so you'd be at like a negative 1.95. So the z-score just tells you how many standard deviations you are away. That's all the z-score does. You don't have to really get into the minutiae of that and understanding that. I'm just going to say, hey, here's the average. Here's your standard deviation. Your score is a 50. What's your z-score from that? And you just plug in. I'll give you this formula. You just plug into the formula. Your score minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. Plug it in, hit enter, and then write out what you get. Okay? And it'll just be based off the problems from the homework, too. The homework sheet. I'm not going to come up with new problems. Yeah.
So you will give us all the formulas from this?
Yeah, I'll give you the formulas for it. I think there's the variance, and then the z-score. Now, how do you find standard deviation? It's just the square root of the variance. You just find variance, and then take the square root of it. So, yeah, come on.
The final, she might have just asked us, but are we going to have like equations for the final too?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yep, I'll give these out next week for you guys to look at and then return to me.
Okay.
But you can look at all of them and make sure all the formulas you want are on there. There's some from other classes in there too. Okay, so then today we're just going to do PSD, page 611. That's presenting statistical data. And in that, again, if you want to take some notes, you can. You don't have to. But they have on page 611, this is presenting statistical data. So in that, okay, you have stem and leaf plot. Okay, this is a stem and leaf plot. 4, 4, 5. I'm not going to write it all out. They just have that in there as well on that page. And dot, 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 dot. What this represents is it's kind of a consolidated way to write a bunch of scores. You guys, have you seen stem and leaf plots? I think you. So right, this is 44, 50, 56, 57, 63, 62. I don't know why either I wrote it down. Okay, no, they for some reason did 63, then 62. Typically you would go 62, then 63. That should be a comma, 67 and 67. Okay, now if you had scores that were, let's say, 440, you could still do this, you would just make a note that 4 is equal to 440, and then everybody would know that these tack on a 0 at the end of all of them. Or you could do something like this, 440, if they were like 440, 442, 459, you could do that. And then put commas in between. If you had triple digits for the data that you were doing, that would be fine too. Okay? So stem and leaf plot just has a bar, a single digit over here, and then typically we see stuff like that. All right, now once you have a stem and leaf plot, that just organizes your data. You can do a scatter plot, which we already did this, which we don't need to. Very entertaining. Scatter plot, you take your data. Didn't we talk about this, right? I know we did. And you scatter your data, that's a scatter plot. That was in 12-1, 12-2, that we just covered. So, and then you could find a line through that. We're not working on finding a line through this stuff, which is nice. You don't have to find the equations of lines. Okay, then with our data, you have a box and whisker plot. You guys have bought some whisker plots? Okay. Okay, box and whisker plots. Box and whisker plots use the medians. They use medians. Okay? And it's going to look like this, 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 and that. Okay. That's what a box and whisker plot looks like. What are all those? Sometimes the book continues a line through. Sometimes it doesn't. It's not right or wrong either way. Okay, what this is this dot is your lowest score. This dot is your highest score. Okay, and then this dot here is your median, not the average. It uses what right there? Medians, not averages. Okay, it's your median. And then this is
First quartile.
First quartile, which is
On the middle of your lowest and your median.
yeah, it's the median of the lower half of data. So you find your median, and then you find the median of the lower half of data. And maybe I'll write out some numbers that we can see. This is then your third quartile. And you think about it, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Quartiles, 4. So this is your third quartile, and that is your median of your what?
Last.
Upper half of data, right? Okay, cool. So if we were to do a real basic example, let's say you have 52, 60, 65, 77, get Oliver's score in there, 85. Yeah.
That was one time.
One time, yeah. 90, 92, let's say. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's great. So if we're going to do the box and whisker plot, you would say, okay, dot there, dot there. Then you would say, what's our median?
77.
Dot there. And then you don't include 77, that's gone. Now you look at what's the median of the lower half?
60.
60. What's the median of the upper half? 90. Remember, it's not averages. It's just what the number. So you have to try to indicate there. And then you have your box and whisker plot just like that. Okay. That's usually the way I go. Now, typically, what you do is you put a number line. Not typically. You always put a number line. And so if this was our data, I kind of did a poor job here, but you would have a number line here that represents, okay, this is 40, this is 100 out there, maybe you go in increments, this is 50, whatever, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So, okay? So that's a box and whisker plot. A good question on the test would be box and whisker plots use what measure of central tendency?
Scary.
No, not scary.
Median.
Medians. You bet.
Voice.
Yes. Most people want to say it uses what?
Average.
Average means, yeah, but it doesn't. You're just wrong. Okay, cool. So, thanks for laughing, Oliver. The last thing we want to do is, I don't know what I labeled on the sheet. Misuse of statistics, MOS, page. Wow, we only have 1 through 3, all very good. Page 615. So page 615, MOS, and then we're done here. MOS simply says misuse of statistics, and if you look at page 615, there's lots of misleading statistics. What's interesting is you'll see advertisements online, and they'll say like #1 watched most news station. I mean, I don't know if people watch TV really anymore, like local, but it'd be like, you know, Channel 13, the #1 most watched news station.
#1 pizza.
And that's actually just not true. They make that up. Yeah, and they can, because I researched this, they don't have to have data that proves that. Or they surveyed 2 people that said, yeah, we watched that. And so, okay, we're the #1. But they surveyed 10 people. Well, if you will go around Missoula and survey 10 people and ask them what news station they watch, although, again, nobody really watches the news on, do your parents watch TV anymore and watch the news still, like the weather and the 6 o'clock news? I mean, that's kind of an old thing, right? Hey, we're going to watch the 6 o'clock news or the 10 o'clock news. It's all gone because we have the internet and people just go on the internet and look up weather or look up news in Missoula. But they used to. So if you went around Missoula and said, hey, or maybe something better like this, hey, what's,
#1 pizza joint.
your #1 pizza joint? And you surveyed 10 people. Is surveying 10 people very accurate? And those 10, and you survey 10 college kids. College kids are going to like, what do you think, premium pizza or cheap pizza? Cheap pizza. Now, I absolutely love Little Caesars. There's stuffed pizza. Should we get some more today? Probably should. Especially since I won $20 from Keebram. Yeah. Oh, do you tell? He said the tennis matches were at the Playfair, and I knew they were at the Fort.
So you just got $20 off of that?
Yeah, I said, oh, well, let's make a wager. Because I don't like arguing with people. Especially when I know I'm right.
Our brother did that.
So instead of arguing with me, just say, if you really think you're right, I think I'm right. Just put some money on the line. Enough of this.
Most people really think they're right.
Yeah, and then usually if they're not sure, they back off. And then it's like, well, quit arguing.
He's for sure.
Then if they're sure, then you know you're going to win money off of it.
You should have said more than one.
Well, I did say, all right, let's go double or nothing. I'll let you back out as we were turning the corner to head towards, by community hospital towards the Fort. And he said, okay, $40.
Oh, Keebram.
But I knew I couldn't take 40 from him. So I
could
backed
take
out.
60.
I backed off out of that deal for him.
Oh, you should have.
Take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it. Okay.
I wonder where all your money goes. Like, if you spend it all on pizza.
Do I wonder?
No, does your wife?
Well, that's why I have the sell the snacks and then I can go buy pizza for the rest.
Nice.
He's smart.
Would you make a profit or like?
Think of how many pizzas I've fed you in the last few weeks at lunchtime.
I think those pizzas probably cost him maybe $2.50.
No.
Wait,
The
what?
Little Caesars pizza I just
Oh, no,
bought
I
you
thought
and the
it was the
Domino's
frozen
pizza that I bought the other
No,
day.
the frozen one.
Yeah, those only cost $2.50.
Domino's, I don't know, probably like 20.
Domino's? Yeah. Little
Anyways.
Caesars, $9.50.
Let's move forward quickly.
How much is Domino's for pizza?
So, right, you survey the wrong group, they're gonna say, hey, whatever, pick Little Caesars is the best pizza in Missoula. And it's like, it's the #1 rated pizza place in Missoula. It's like, who voted on that? Although I love Little Caesars, so, but right, it's like, okay, we asked Connor and we asked Mr. Ellison and they were all into it. But they don't have to say, we surveyed 2 people, we surveyed 10,000 people. It's just like, we have the #1 pizza in Missoula.
We just served it.
Out of who?
Right. So
We surveyed
misuse
a
of
person.
statistics, MOS. So if you look at page 614, actually, I think I wrote 615. That's what your homework is on. But 614, it says their example 1 is a good one. It says users of brush toothpaste have 30% fewer cavities. Data obtained in interviews with 30 people in Thompsonville. So in this advertisement, only 50 people were surveyed. This is a very small number of people on which to base the conclusion that brush toothpaste reduces cavities. Rock music is the winner. 43% of all listeners prefer rock music to jazz. 936 students at Center High School were surveyed. I mean, most high school kids are going to go for rock or jazz in general. Jazz.
Definitely jazz.
Okay. So 936 is a lot of people, but sampling high schoolers about the best music, I mean, that's what they like.
Bias.
And it
But
says
not
all
biased.
listeners when it's like there's
Yeah.
like 7 billion people in the world.
Yeah, all listeners, and it's like they only surveyed high school kids. So it's a misuse of statistics, okay?
For every one of us, there's like 12 of them in that high school.
That's true.
Yeah. Where I student taught in the suburbs of Chicago, there was 4,000 kids in the high school.
Have you seen those?
And we would, when the bell would ring, there's like 3 stories, you know, the bell would ring, the hallways, you know, people complain about these hallways. And their hallways were like 3 times as wide, but it was shoulder to shoulder. And you literally just had to walk in a line like a penguin.
Have you seen those?
That was so
Those.
And then,
terrible.
And then, you know, you have people like stopping and like making out in the hallway, you know, whatever. You're like, okay, move.
Have you seen those?
So it's just terrible. And but then the building would shake because there's so
What?
many people.
Like
Yeah,
what?
like 3 stories, and so I mean, the building has this little movement to it.
Uh-oh.
Someone shut off the alarm.
Go find out who Dunbar quickly.
Go!
You want to know?
Get up, Justin.
Easy, easy. Oh man.
Have you seen those buildings in New York where that
Did you almost drill somebody?
Almost.
the schools in New York have like football fields on their roof?
Ah! Comedy.
Harmony, did you do it on purpose? It's okay.
No, not okay.
Detention!
You will be suspended.
You will be
This
suspended.
girl knows Harmony.
Okay, Schubert.
Did you do it on purpose?
Wait, this thing is live. It's been going for
I'm just gonna start now.
that long and we
You want to say it? Say it to the camera.
Hi.
It's been going that long and what?
Have we even like been doing math?
Oh wow. We'll end on that note.